As a resurfaced interview of 50 Cent with Earn Your Leisure at last month's InvestFest is making its rounds on the internet today, the conversation is heating up around Diddy and his involvement with the liquor brands. This came months after a raid and recent developments, but 50 says the process has really sped up. Diddy's ongoing legal battles with powerful behind-the-scenes liquor companies may have had a hand in all of this. But before we dive in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop with videos like this.
Like me, my particular experience with Beam Suntory, it was great in the beginning. It's great for us to work for them. It is not so cool when you start to own things. You see what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money with them too. Like there's a point, they did a deal that mirrored what Puffy's deal with Diageo was for Ciroc. So he didn't have ownership of that at any point, but he was getting a lot of money, like almost like $60 million a year at one point. So you see him go to daily on is when you see him have some issues. And these people have really strong relationships. Don't think that the civil case doesn't turn into a criminal case faster because he's making them uncomfortable. That's a big part of it. The spirits business it's not governed. They got a discus board that they created, and Beam Suntory and Diageo. The distribution level is very hard for you to get things to a point where you can do the right numbers. They incentivize the sales force by giving them box bonuses. And then when you sell a product, you get the bonuses off the boxes that's there. But you make that no matter what product you're selling. So if you sell Hennessy or Remy out the gate, they start to put downward pressure on the new companies.
Diddy Combs ordered to stay behind bars. His lawyers offered up his Miami home, his mother's home, as well as collateral. Also, he would forfeit his passport, but it wasn't enough to keep him out of jail until trial. Jennifer Bisram inside the courtroom when that judge handed down that decision. Jennifer?
Hi, Christine. This was Sean Diddy Combs' second day in court after those federal charges and after spending a night in a federal lockup. He walked in the courtroom very calm, very confident. His sons were in the courtroom, and at one point he even blew them a kiss and put his hand to his heart. But just about a half hour ago, the judge denied him bail again, saying if released, he could tamper with evidence and contact witnesses. Now, if you may recall, this music mogul has been charged with sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Prosecutors argued he is a flight risk and used the term dangerousness today a lot, saying his violence against women went on for decades, and he ran an elaborate sex act called freak-offs. And he had a team who helped him with everything from setting up rooms to supplies. Now, prosecutors also said freak-off activity is the core of this case. They say the victims and escorts that were presented in this case so far is just the tip of the iceberg. They also argued that if bail was granted, risk of obstruction would be heightened because of Combs' power. And they say just last week, he contacted a witness over 50 times. Now, Sean Diddy Combs' attorney argued Combs is trustworthy. He had a drug addiction and anger issues, and that he went to rehab for that. But he said that they also said that he had a foolproof system for bail. A new security service would monitor Combs 24/7 at his Miami home. He would not have access to internet or phone, so he would not be able to contact witnesses, and he submitted his passport. They say also in good faith, he put his $45 million Miami mansion up, his home up for collateral, and is in the process of selling his plane. Now, at the end, the judge ruled this bail package was insufficient. Listen to his attorney as the attorney left the courtroom just a short time ago.
It did not go our way. The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and, I believe, inhumane housing conditions.
And again, Sean Diddy Combs will now remain in federal custody until his trial date. He denies all charges. Again, you heard from his attorney just a short time ago. Now, if convicted on those felony charges, he faces 15 years to life in prison.
50 Cent has had his own run-ins with liquor companies and other legal issues, but he believes that certain people with deep connections and a lot of influence, are controlling things behind closed doors. He also made an interesting point: sometimes more than one thing can be true at once. You can have parts of a conversation where two sides are both right and wrong in different ways. Basically, they're accusing Diddy of using certain individuals and corporate power to his advantage, manipulating the system. This isn't exactly a new allegation. In fact, some of you are probably wondering, why is all this coming to light now? Why did it take so long? And if these things have been happening for a while, why didn't anyone act sooner? In my opinion, the government usually moves based on the situation and the resources available. This doesn't feel like something that just popped up overnight. I'm not saying Diddy's innocent, far from it, but we're all about innocent until proven guilty here, right? I'm not wishing jail time on anyone for something they understood and agreed to beforehand. And sure, it feels like the feds have been keeping tabs on Diddy for a while. But still, you've got to wonder, why now? They probably had enough to indict him years ago, so what's changed? If you ask me, it's more than just this civil suit pushing things forward. One thing's for sure, the court of public opinion is powerful, but it's not always right. We've seen people wrongfully dragged through the mud, and we've also seen actual criminals get away with things for years. Innocent until proven guilty, right? But with the timing, the connections, and these corporate lawsuits, something smells off. It's almost as if someone, somewhere, is pulling the strings to make all of this happen right now. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying Diddy is guilty or innocent. I wasn't there. None of us were, but I do think it's worth asking, if this has been going on for so long, why now? What's really changed? Could that civil lawsuit really have pushed things into criminal territory like 50 Cent is suggesting? We've seen things like this happen in the entertainment industry before. It's not just Diddy. Think Epstein, think Weinstein. These cases are often bigger than just the individual accused. There's a whole web of power, influence, and other factors at play. But here's where it gets even more interesting. People are asking, why is 50 Cent going so hard at Diddy? He's even made documentaries poking fun at the guy's parties. But if you listen to what 50 Cent is saying, it's more than just throwing shade. He believes people knew what was going on for a long time but weren't ready to act. And now, suddenly, everything is moving fast. 50's point is simple. Multiple things can be true at once. Diddy's legal issues, corporate lawsuits, and the sudden push to indict all seem connected. Now we're even hearing about evidence, text messages, video footage of Diddy allegedly trying to influence witnesses. We don't make the rules, but the government sure is using all this to paint a picture of someone pulling the strings behind the scenes. And if they can prove it, these charges could get very serious. At the end of the day, it's about more than just parties and headlines. If there's real evidence, it'll come out in court. But for now, it seems like the higher-ups are moving things behind the scenes. And as I always say, there's always more to the story. So what do you all think? Is 50 Cent onto something, or is this just another round of Hollywood drama? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, stay motivated. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.